Hello all. I finally decided to bring my Cricut Maker into the room with my printers now. So since I've had a lot of questions and comments and concerns surrounding the project incompatible and also Cricut cannot detect your cut lines, I decided to go ahead and upload another video so you guys can see the full process. Okay. So I'm going to start out in Cricut Design Space here, and I have a blank canvas. I'm just going to upload an image. All right. Let's see what we got here. I'm just going to make it really, really simple. Let's take this Grinch. All right, so this is a cut and print, and you can tell on the right hand side it says cut and print. When I click on the image, you always have to make sure you have your image selected, otherwise it won't highlight your details. So if I take this image and let's say I want to put this on a really large mat, so I stretch it out like this, and I say I want to have my image at 9 by 7.64 by 7.131. When you look over on the right hand side, you have this little alert here, and this is letting you know, this triangle is letting you know when you click on it, your image is too large, and it's telling you to reduce it down to 6.75 by 9.25 or less, which is the largest that you can print inside Cricut Design Space. That's why a lot of my designs, I go outside of Cricut Design Space when I want them larger or when I don't want to run into issues with my image being too big. If you bring in an image into Cricut Design Space and it's already too large, because sometimes that will happen, sometimes it'll be like a 24 and larger. What you do is you have up at the top of your menu here, you have a lock proportions button. And if you take that lock proportions button and you click it one time, then it will allow you to change your width and height proportionate. Okay. If you leave it locked, when you change the first sizing, your width, it will automatically adjust your height. So if I go in here and say, okay, I want to get it at 6.75, which is the largest I can do in Cricut Design Space, when I hit tab, it's going to automatically adjust the height to make sure that it is width and height proportionate. Okay, so it's not stretched out looking crazy. Okay, so at this point, I say, okay, I'm ready to go ahead and send this to my printer. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on Make It. And what you're going to see is it's going to show you that your image needs to be placed on your mat. And it's actually showing you like the 12 by 12, but it's showing you to place your image on your mat, how to place your image on your mat. So once you go ahead, and we're not going to mirror or anything like that, we're ready to just go ahead and print this and cut it out. I'm going to go ahead and click on continue. And then it's going to recognize your cutting machine. And then you're just going to click on send to printer. All right, now that it has the center printer, I'm going to go ahead and place my paper on my mat and send this to my printer. And I'm going to show you a couple of things here. So give me 1 minute here. If you have more than one printer, it's at this point that you want to make sure you select the appropriate printer. So here, I'm going to go ahead and change this to my HP OfficeJet Pro printer. So I'm going to select the OfficeJet Pro. I just want one copy. You use the bleed anytime you want to utilize additional ink. on your image. I don't need that for this particular project, and I'm not going to use my printer settings. So I'm ready to go ahead and hit print here. All right, is printing out. All right, so hold it right there. All right, guys, so here is my image printed out, and then I'm just going to place it on the blue mat. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you place your image just like Cricut Design Space showed you, which was going in the portrait position, okay? So your image should be placed on your mat. I'm going to show you how it should be placed first. It should be placed on your mat just like this in the portrait position, okay? Now, if for whatever reasons, let's say you're just not paying attention to what you're doing and you place it on your mat like this. This is your landscape position. I'm going to show you what's going to happen if you do this. Now, you're not going to be able to see it on your screen, on my screen right now, because I can't do my, I can't show you my screen and me at the same time. Let me put this like this so you guys can not be looking like you're just looking up at the top of the ceiling. But what's going to happen is when I place this into my cutting machine here, my Cricut cutting machine, what's going to happen is I'm going to get an error message that tells me that Cricut cannot read my lines. And it's looking for these black lines right here, okay? So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to place it in my cutting machine. And let me go ahead and tell Cricut that I have it on my material. So I'm just going to select medium cardstock, and that's pretty much it. So it's ready to go ahead and look for my cutting lines. All right, just so you can kind of get the visual here. So it's in my Cricut cutting machine, and it's looking for the lines. And where it's looking for the lines are on the right side of my mat, but it's looking for the lines on the left side of my mat. And that's because I have it going landscape when it should be going portrait, okay? So now what happens is Cricut is sending me a message telling me, and it actually says print then cut error. This machine cannot read the cut sensor marks. Make sure you're using white material. It is positioned correctly on the mat and the cut sensor marks are fully printed. To try again, press the flash and go button on your machine, okay? So I'm gonna hit cancel there, and it ejects the image for me. So it ejects everything. So you don't have to worry about Cricut slipping up and cutting in the wrong place, because your cutting machine is not going to cut it at all because you have it going in the landscape position. So that's one of the issues that people will face. And all I have to do is take it off of my mat. And now I'm going to place it going in the correct position, which is portrait, like it showed me on my previous screen. So I am going to now place it in the portrait position. And then all I'm going to do is just load it right back into my cutting machine. I don't have to go back into Cricut Design Space and do anything because it already is ready for me to reload it. So now you'll see what will happen when I put it in the portrait position. So now it's looking again for those cut lines, and it's stopping all in the right places. So we're just going to give it a minute here and it'll start to cut. All right, so it has detected the cut lines, and now it's going to go ahead and cut out the image for us. And I'm using my blue mat, and blue mat is your light grip, so it doesn't require a lot of stickiness because it's light grip. And this is just going to cut around the outer sides and just a couple of the little inner pieces where the hat of the Grinch is. So it should be done here in just a moment. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and eject it. So now the Cricut Maker has cut out this image for me. And so all I have to do is just take it and pull the excess off, and there is my image left behind. Now, one of the things that I always tell people is to roll your mat backwards, and then that will allow your image to stay straight. If you just pull your image up off the mat, your image is going to curl up, and you don't want that. So that is how you can get rid of that error message that says Cricut cannot detect the cut lines. The other thing is, if for whatever reasons, let's say your printer is running low on ink, and I'm just going to reposition this back on here just to give you a visual of what I'm talking about, because it's still sticky, so you guys will get the gist of what I'm talking about. But let's say I just piece this back together, okay? So let's say that for whatever reasons, that wasn't your issue, and you have it going in the portrait position, and Cricut is still saying it cannot detect the cut lines on your project. Then what you can do is you can take a black permanent marker, and take that black permanent marker and go around your lines like that so that Cricut can read those lines. and you can kind of go around your image to make sure, because sometimes, we're running low on ink, and so your lines may not be as dark as they need to be for Cricut to pick them up. So just take a black permanent marker and trace around your black lines and your image to help Cricut to be able to pick up your cut lines for you. Okay. So those are two of the things that I can share with you. The other thing is I have the Cricut Maker. Okay. So the Cricut Maker is a really powerful machine, and it picks up pretty much on any color outside of black. I've never tried black to do a print and cut, and I might try that one day just to see how it works. Let me see if I have any black. So I've never tried it on black before, but I don't have the right size black cardstock. This is 12 by 12 and it's too large for my printer here. But I know that I've tried glitter cardstock before, printable glitter, and never had an issue with it. Some people have issues with the glitter paper, and it could be your cutting machine. Okay, I know I can only speak for the Cricut Maker. I cannot speak for the Explorer, Silhouette, and all that good stuff. But for the Cricut Maker, I know that it picks up on pretty much any color outside of white paper, because Cricut Design Space will say make sure the paper is white, but I've done print and cut on plenty of colors besides just white and not had an issue. Okay. Um, but yeah, that's what I wanted to jump on and share with you guys, is that when you get that error message, it's two things that you can check. One, make sure your image is going in the right direction according to what Cricut Design Space is showing. Is it showing you that it's in the portrait position, or is it showing you that it's in the landscape position? Okay, however it shows you visually on your laptop or your cell phone, whatever you're using to design, make sure that the image is going in the direction that it shows you on your imaginary mat on your screen. Okay. And then if that is not the issue, if it still cannot read your cut lines, then use a black permanent marker to go around your image and around the lines so that Cricut can pick it up, because it could be that your printer is not printing as dark as Cricut needs to. Sometimes we're running low on ink. Okay. All right, guys, so that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns about, either one of these issues with Cricut Design Space, remember the largest that you can print in Cricut Design Space is 6.75 by 9.25. That is the largest that you can print inside Cricut Design Space. If you want to go larger than that, you have to go outside of Cricut Design Space. There is no workaround. You can always do, and some people do this. So this is an image that I did in Cricut Design Space. And of course, it's larger than 6.75 by 9.25, but I had to split it. As you can see here's a split and here's a split right here by her face. So you can chop your image up to get larger in Cricut Design Space. If I had this back on the wall like this, you can't even tell that I chopped it up. But when you get close to it, that's when you can see where I actually split it to get it larger. So that was the way that I got this larger, down to 6.75. And I have these taped up on my wall. So this is 6.75 by 9.25. That's what that looks like. And then this is larger. So you can see the difference between these. So this was this was a tutorial that I did. So if you want to know how I did this, there's a tutorial on my YouTube channel that will tell you guys how to do that. And this is the largest you can go inside Cricut Design Space. So you can do larger inside Cricut Design Space, but you're going to have to chop it up. And when you chop it up, I'm saying chop it up, but slice it. You're going to have to slice it. And when you slice it, you're going to end up with those wherever the slice marks are. And like I said, if your image is going to be somewhere like up on a wall where it's not going to make a difference, then by all means, you can do the slice method, okay? But if it's going to be, sitting on a table somewhere for someone to see very close like that, then of course they're going to be able to see those lines, because I had to slice her put her in 3 slices to get her this big. But it is possible inside Cricut Design Space. And if you want to know how to do this, like I said, check in my channel playlist and you'll find the tutorial. You'll see an image of this, and that's the video that you can use if you want to do that. But other than that, you're going to have to go outside of Cricut Design Space. Now, I use Microsoft PowerPoint. When I am doing larger images, I go right to Microsoft PowerPoint and I can do pretty much whatever I need to there. Some people use Photoshop. I just refuse to pay for additional software when it's not necessary. Okay. So, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. If you're currently in my Facebook group, Ken Dorsey's Cricut and Creative Crafters, thank you guys so much for being a part of my group. And if you're currently subscribed to my YouTube channel, thank you so much for subscribing to my YouTube channel. And if not, if this is the first time you've seen my YouTube channel, then please like, share, and subscribe. Put the word out there about my YouTube channel, okay? And also, if you click on that bell notification in the top right-hand corner, you will be made aware anytime I upload videos to YouTube, which I do often, all right? Check the playlist because that's where you're going to find the different video tutorials that I've done on crafting. And as always, guys, my motto is each one reach one so that each one can teach one. And you guys have a great day. Bye.